Yahweh based his relationship with us on choice. We choose what to believe and in whom to trust. He recognized that love cannot be forced. Submission is the antithesis of the scriptural message. One cannot love what one fears. Biblically, the Hebrew yareh means revere in reference to God, not fear. Love cannot be seduced either, as a loving relationship is based upon open disclosure, truth, not deception. This is why Mohammed's cravings were never satisfied. In this regard, Yahweh and Allah could not be more different.
Koran 5:35. Believers fear Allah and seek the way to approach Him, striving hard.
Fighting Jihad.
With all your might in His cause.
Deception, death, and damnation.
That you may be successful. As for the disbelievers,
previously defined in this surah as Christians,
if they had everything on earth 2 times over to give as ransom for the penalty of the day of doom, it would never be accepted from them. Theirs will be a painful torment. They will desire to get out of the fire, but they shall not be released from it. They shall have an everlasting punishment.
The 13th chapter of Paul's first letter to the Corinthians does a better job of explaining why Mohammed failed than any words I could ever write. It serves to expose how dissimilar Mohammed's recital was from the Messiah's gospel. The opening line is even prophetic, as Mohammed, the boy who was unloved and never learned to love, claimed to have spoken for angels and to have received his message as a clanging bell. If I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but do not have love, I have become a noisy gong, a clanging cymbal. And if I have the gift of prophecy, and know all mysteries, and have all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all of my possessions to feed the poor, and if I deliver my body to be burned, but I do not have love, it promises me nothing. Love is patient, it is kind, and it is not jealous. Love does not brag, and is not arrogant. It does not act unbecomingly. Love does not seek its own. It is not provoked, does not take into account a wrong suffered, does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices in truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. Not fear, not fighting, not terror nor booty, neither submission nor obedience, not painful punishments or hateful tirades. Love, nothing more, nothing less. Returning to the Koran, we discover that Allah prefers torture to love. And while civilized man has advanced 3,000 years from the time Hammurabi's laws were first pressed into clay tablets, Allah prefers the Stone Age. Yet it's fitting. It's where the black stone belongs.
Koran 5, verse 37. The
Christian
disbelievers will long to get out of the fire, but they will never get out from there, and theirs will be an enduring torture. Verse 38. And as to the thief, male or female, cut off his or her hands, a punishment by way of example from Allah. Allah is mighty, wise.
For a rock.
But if the thief repents after his crime and amends his conduct, Allah turns to him in forgiveness.
So, if you say you're sorry, you can steal all you want.
Koran 5, verse 41. Messenger, let not those
rejectors and mockers
grieve you. They race each other into unbelief among those who say, we believe with their lips, but whose hearts have no faith.
Allah is rebuking the bad Muslims who, like bad Nazis, pretended to go along with the program to stay alive.
or it be among the Jews men who will listen to any lie. They change the context of the words from their right times and places.
Muhammad is once again projecting his faults onto the Jews. The Bible is the most historically accurate, ancient document the world has ever known. Every story is set within the context of time and place. It is his Koran that has no context and is devoid of times and places. By way of example, I present the second half of this verse.
They say, if you are given this, take it, but if not, beware. If anyone's temptation is intended by Allah's desires, you have no authority in the least from him against Allah. For it is not Allah's will to purify their hearts. For them there is disgrace in this world, and in the hereafter a heavy punishment.
This is absolute gibberish without context. The most that can be deciphered from the verse is that Allah is once again acting like the devil. Another translation reads,
Whomever Allah wants to deceive, you cannot help.
It goes on to say,
Allah does not want them to know the truth, because He intends to disgrace them and then torture them.
Lurking behind the veil of Islam is none other than Satan, the adversary. While that might sound harsh and intolerant, it remains the only rational conclusion. The presentation of Allah's character and ambition in the Quran doesn't leave us any other choice. By prostrating themselves to Allah and fighting jihad in Allah's cause, Muslims have surrendered to Satan. They are doing the devil's business. While the Quranic evidence is overwhelming, the Prophet's sunnah or example serves as proof. And the river of blood that has flowed from the mantra of the black stone serves as a harsh and vivid confirmation. It isn't by chance that good Muslims are 2,000% more violent than the rest of us. It isn't by accident that terror and Islam are irrevocably and undeniably linked. It isn't a coincidence that Allah's enemies are Yahweh's chosen. Muhammad, speaking of the Jews he had plundered, said on behalf of the spirit that possessed him.
In Koran 5, verse 42, They are fond of listening to falsehood, of devouring anything forbidden. They are greedy for illicit gain.
If ever a verse was guilty of projecting one's faults upon a foe, this is it. It defines hypocrite. The man, or God, went on to lie.
Koran 5:44. It was we who revealed the Torah to Moses. By its standard the prophets judged the Jews, and the prophets bowed in Islam to Allah's will, surrendering. For the rabbis and the priests, to them was entrusted the protection of Allah's scripture book, and they were witnesses of it. Therefore fear not men, but fear me, and sell not my revelations for a miserable price.
How do you suppose that a God who jumps between first and third person, who can't remember his name, or if he is singular or plural, could have revealed the Torah? And if he revealed it, why couldn't he protect it from change? More important, since Allah claims that his Quran was written before time began, and that it was perfect revelation, why did he even bother with the Torah? Moreover, if Allah was such a great and prolific revealer, why did Muhammad have to buy his scripture revelations for a miserable price? Continuing to prove his lack of divinity, Allah proclaims,
in Koran 5:46, And in their footsteps we sent Isa, their Jesus, the son of Mary, confirming the law that had come before him. We sent him the gospel. Therein was guidance and light, and confirmation of the law that had come before him, a guidance to those who fear Allah.
The Gospels were written about the Messiah, not given to him. The first, Mark, was written 20 years after the resurrection. The last, John, was composed some 30 years later. And since the Gospel fulfills the Torah by confirming its prophecies, why does the Quran reject that fulfillment in its entirety? And why does it contradict its central message? It's as if the author of the Quran were ignorant of the scriptures he was trying to plagiarize and then condemn. It's also interesting that Isa, Arabic for Esau, is the one person whom Yahweh calls out by name in his scriptures to condemn He says of Esau that he and his descendants will be destroyed. Arabic was perfectly capable of rendering the Messiah's name accurately, as Yeshua, but instead they chose to call the Messiah Esau.